the experience of play during the month of March, and our theme for the year is living everyday wonder. And I'll talk more about the experience of wonder as we go along. And my topic for this morning is so happy together. Together. Do you know, of course you know, do you know that it's been 2 years? We've been doing what we've been doing for 2 years. And if you've had the opportunity, well, those of you in this room have had the opportunity because we've come back together. Those of you that are with us on Zoom, if you've had the opportunity to get together with friends or family, or to climb on a plane, or to go to Costco and not wear a mask, or just any of those things that we so got used to and admittedly took for granted, and then all of a sudden we couldn't. And now we're beginning to be able to do that again, to get back together. Now, admittedly, I got used to it's kind of an interesting thing when you're speaking or you're leading a group on Zoom from the dining room table, because you can look very respectable from the belt up and be wearing sweats or shorts or less or whatever you want, and nobody knows. But now that we're now that we're out and about, we kind of need to be wearing our adult clothes again. But it's easy. It was easy. And while I missed the person-to-person contact, it was easy to not have to leave the dining room. Because, don't tell anybody, but I am an introvert. No. I know. And many of the ministers that you know, and Reverend Suzette is with us and she doesn't necessarily have to respond, but many of the ministers that you know are introverts. We're the voice. I know, right? Thank you, and thank you for that. Because we are just really comfortable here, and we're sharing with you, and we're seeing you afterwards, and it's so wonderful. And then we need to go home and
put on our sweats.
yes, collapse, watch Golden Girls, play with the dogs, whatever. But we need that time to kind of just relax and get back to back to basics and back to centering, as it were. Someone who loves quiet conversations about feelings or ideas and can give a dynamite presentation to a big audience, even if we do say so ourselves, but are not comfortable going into a group where we don't know anybody. And if you have those characteristics, welcome to the team. You are an introvert. Now, I am absolutely convinced that the universe has a sense of humor, because my late husband, Jerry, was in no way an introvert. He wasn't. If you knew him, you know, he was the center of attention, the life of the party. It was just okay until he got there, and away we go. And I'm like, dear Lord, let me just go hide under the table and you just go and do what you're going to do. And we went to a lot of his work gatherings and he had a great time. And I'm like, why don't you just light me on fire? I just not comfortable with the small talk and all of that with people that I don't really know. And that's okay. Not only is it okay, it's just part of the truth of our being. We're either one or the other, or kind of halfway in between. So For us introverts, it's not a sign of depression. It's not antisocial. It doesn't call for medication. It's just who we are. And for us introverts, our theme of life and with people that we deal with can be, I'm okay, you're okay, in small doses. But we miss a lot. Admittedly, we missed a lot when we weren't able to be out and in community. Now we can certainly do community thanks to the joys of technology, and we did and we continue to, but when we're able to, it's so much more wonderful to be in person. And even if we're not in person, when we're in community, and whether that's a Zoom room or in this very room, we are getting to know one another. We're embracing each other's past and future plans and visions and eccentricities. If you were with me 2 weeks ago, you might remember that I came out on a couple of things, including the fact that I tie my shoes with rabbit ears, that I don't want my food to touch, that I have rules related to what goes on the turkey versus what goes on the mashed potatoes. And if we think about ourselves, we might think, dang, you're just a little out there. Thank you for nobody saying, yes, you are. But each of us carry those eccentricities. What we really like, what we really don't like. I don't like bananas. I know, I don't like bananas. And I was talking with my beloved yesterday, and he's like, why don't you like bananas? And I said, I don't know. I just don't. It's what makes us us. It's what makes us the beloved, is all of these things that make up our wishes and desires and everything. And so in community, we get to share those things. In beloved community, we get to share those things, and nobody says, dang, you're just out there. We honor each person's past and future and desires and wishes and wonders. Think for a moment, won't you, about the concept of community. It is our beloved home that we, and again, whether you're with us in person or on Zoom this morning, we are community. We have similar beliefs. We probably have very different backgrounds, but we have similar outlook and speak similarly, believe similarly. But the opportunity for us in this living everyday wonder, is to expand past the comfortable, to expand past what we know into what we don't know, into people we don't know, to expand the hug, if you will, to people that maybe think differently than we do, or love differently than we do, or believe differently than we do, recognizing that each person you pass on the street today is the beloved. Each person is the beloved. If you've ever lived somewhere other than San Diego County, you know that it's just the most amazing experience. And many of you have heard me talk about living in the Boston area for 2 years. And I'd never seen snow before, except for going up to, you go up to the Cuyamacas, and is that what that white stuff is that's falling down from the sky? That's interesting. And then we come home and don't have to shovel the driveway. We can put our shorts back on and go to the beach. But it was the most amazing experience because I got to recognize other people's eccentricities. So the language, you're sure this is English? Because it's wicked, but wicked is good in the Northeast. Is that bottle? Is that a pop, a seltzer, a soda, or a Coke? Oh, a tonic. Thank you. I forgot about that. Could be a tonic. Is that thing that women carry? Is that a purse or a pocketbook? It's a pocketbook. Yes. Yes. So we moved from San Diego to Boston by way of Kentucky because, so I mean, we're talking serious differences in culture and lifestyle and what's important and what's not. Wow. It was just the greatest. It was absolutely the greatest experience because when we allow ourselves to do that, it blows the lid off of our glass ceiling and makes us recognize the wonder and the joy and the lusciousness of this thing called life. It looks very different in Kentucky than it does here, and it looks very different in Boston than it does in Kentucky. We had several gatherings of our beloved friends from Boston, and family from Kentucky would come to San Diego. And one of the first times that they were here, somebody, and I forget which community members said it, but they were making fun just a little bit, not meanly, but making fun of somebody's accent. And I'm like, yeah, you from Kentucky are making fun of Boston's accent, and you from Boston are making fun of Kentucky's accent. And guess what? I have one too. Everybody does. Everybody does. No matter where we're from, it's just the way we talk and the words we use. It's part of who we are. It's part of this richness that we call life and this experience of community. You might remember Barbra Streisand's wonderful song. That's not it? Yes. People who need people are the luckiest people in the world. I have no idea what you went through in that experience. And that's why it's so important for me to get to know you, whatever that experience was. And so we allow ourselves to expand this experience of community to include the people that we don't have that much in common with, except we have everything in common with them because, as we talked about before, they're the beloved just as we are. So think about this experience of community, and as we go along and as we get more comfortable, there will be more opportunities for us to get together in person, but there will also be those opportunities and continue to be those where we're together on Zoom, and how important it is for us to be able to do that. And us introverts, I invite us to get off the sofa and either get on the Zoom call or come to the sanctuary and as we experience this wonderful thing called community. So why would we want to be? That's nice, but I'm fine, thank you. But why would we want to be involved in a community? And I have some answers to that question. Starting with encouragement. Each of us has something that we came here to do. And I believe that if we're still drawing breath, there is potentially something else for us to do. Sometimes we need somebody, a non-judgmental somebody, to point out, well, what if you thought about? And so that encouragement to continue to recognize that whatever's next is out there waiting for you, and you're not done yet. We're not done yet. You're not, there's a great posting on Facebook. You're not too old, and it's not too late. No matter what, it's not too old. You're not too old, and it's not too late. I have a dear friend who is 92, I think. She's my hero. She lives in Northern California, and she's going for a weekend trip down the coast so that she can prepare to go to a conference in the Midwest in August, so that she can see how it goes, and assuming and knowing that it goes as it should, she will go to Tahiti. Yes. You are not too old, and it's not too late. And her community encourages her to do that. Is it, well, should I? Well, do you need to buy the tickets today? No. Well, so listen to that guidance from our community. Listen to that guidance from the still small voice. Is this yours to do? And if it is, then do it. And if it's not, then what's the next great thing for you? But so encouragement can be a big part of what safe community brings to us. Also, support. I don't know about you, but, I think I know about you, that life doesn't always happen the way we expect it to. You remember the old, I think it's the Zen saying, before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. We're still chopping. We're still carrying. We're still doing these things, but being part of a beloved community gives us that support and that wisdom and the recognition that we're not the only ones. I put my shame in my pocket and attended some Al-Anon meetings several years ago. It was beyond horrendous. But it was the greatest thing because what I saw was, I'm not the only one. That's these wonderful, amazing community support groups allow us to recognize that we're not the only ones going through whatever it is, and there are people to talk to and to share with and to cry with and to do whatever we need to. And at OHM, we have wonderful ministers and practitioners, and that's what we're here for, is in this beloved community to recognize that we're never doing this alone, that there are people who have been through whatever you're going through, the operative word being through, not stuck in, but going through the grief, through the loss, through the anger, through all of that. So support is a big part of this experience of beloved community. And I don't know about you, but it's been my experience that sometimes when I verbalize what it is that I'm wrestling with, I get the answer before the other person I'm talking with or people that I'm talking with have the opportunity to say anything. And as wonderful a listener as my golden retriever is, sometimes you just need somebody with a different physical makeup, not so many paws. So she's wonderful, but it's just not the same. So encouragement, support, and then challenge. I'd love to do that, but wouldn't it be nice if beloved community can help us change that from wouldn't it be nice if into won't it be nice when? Makes all the difference. Because Spirit operates on our word. Our word has tremendous power, and if we do an if, okay, well, we'll see what happens. If we do a when, then that's a much more positive, affirmative statement. Seeing people in our beloved communities doing, being, and having wonderful things reminds us that if you can do that, if you can be that, if you can have that, then so can I. It challenges us to look at that a different way. Sometimes talking about whatever it is gives us the opportunity to look at that again. I was really upset, and I was talking about it. And the person I was talking with said, why? Why did that bother you? Well, you've ever had that? Given yourself, and it doesn't necessarily require another person, could be the cat or the dog or the bird, but question that. Okay, this is really bugging me. Why is it? Why? And is there another way to frame this? Is there another way to tell this story? Is there another way to look at this so that it doesn't bother me so much? Community gives us the opportunity to do that. So, encouragement, support, challenge, and then celebration. I want to know what's going on in your life. I want to know the celebrations, and whether it's that you got a parking place at Costco even better, you got through the gas line at Costco in 10 minutes versus 45, right? Thank you, God. Yes. Boy, we'd be celebrating that, right? Just whatever it is, and those little... Well, and everything is relative. So whether it's a little victory or a big one, how important it is to have wonderful, loving people to share that with. That's this experience of community. I pick on Costco a lot, but they're just so easy, right? And they love us, we love them, so it just is what it is. So we celebrate those milestones in our lives. We celebrate completing that goal. We celebrate the goofy, amazing coincidence isn't the word I want, but God winks. You know, those happenings in your life that you look back and say, what? Wow. How awesome it is, how good it feels to be able to share the facts and the details of whatever it was that happened with people in your beloved community. And then being part of a community allows us to feel gratitude and the opportunity to give back. We can do things by ourselves. We can do things on our own, and we do. But how wonderful it is when we get together to do something as a group. There's a Sanskrit word, seva. I think I'm pronouncing that right. S-E-V-A, seva. It means selfless service and is perhaps considered the most important part of any spiritual practice. It lies at the heart of the path of karma yoga, selfless action, and asks us to serve others with no expectation of outcome. And I just already said that. So, how wonderful. Remember, boy, it's been 2.5 years probably, but we as a group from Ohm went over and picked up trash at Lake Murray. Got together on a Saturday morning and got some fresh air and got together and we laughed and we just had an amazing time. And not only did it serve us individually as community, but it also was a wonderful thing for the lake and Mother Nature. So we do that. We support Urban Street Angels, which is so wonderful. We support, we collect supplies for the homeless and make those available. We, if you know, you probably know that the concert, the 30th of April, is part of the proceeds are going to support nonprofit organizations, including the large dog rescue, and I forget the name of the organization, but reaching outside of these walls and outside of ourselves in order to help people in the community and to help organizations in the community. That feels so good and is such a wonderful opportunity for us to not only be involved with one another, but to be involved in the larger community. Being in sacred, safe community, and it could be family if that is your situation, but it can also be certainly your spiritual center, such as Ohm, can be another organization that you're part of, allows us to be who we are. And how important it is to not be quite so serious. We're spiritual beings. We are on the path. We are love and law. We are serious. And we need to play. We need to frolic. We need to laugh at ourselves and others. It's part of the experience. It's part of the human experience to be able to do that, to dump whatever that was on your shirt, to be able to make he has gone on to his next experience, so I can talk about him one more time. My late husband made amazing cakes. And my favorite, which was his least favorite, was the Italian cream cake, which was, do you remember? Yeah. It was from scratch, always. Duncan Hines and Betty Crocker never came into my house. It was coconut and pecans with a yellow cake and, excuse me, I'm drooling just a little here, and cream cheese frosting. He hated it. We used to do an annual fundraiser at my church, and the last one we did, he bid $300 if he wouldn't have to bake this cake. I'm like, dear God, we really need to have a conversation about this if this is so, because it was labor intensive, and you got to make sure the cake is cool so that the icing doesn't do what it's not supposed to do. But one of the last ones he baked, he used, and you're either supposed to use cake flour and he didn't, or you're supposed to use self-rising and he used the other kind. But anyway, it was like kind of like the parting of the Red Sea in the oven, and the cakes, the three, because it's a triple layer, so the cake in the three cake pans expanded and dropped into the oven and just made a god-awful mess. And I'm like, oh dear Lord, let me just go to Marie Callender's and buy a cake and have done with it. But so those things that we do, rather than beating ourselves up about it, rather than being embarrassed about it, we can share that and have that laugh with one another, because you think that's bad, wait till I tell you what I did. You think that's bad, wait till I tell you what I did. And so we as spiritual beings having the human experience have that experience of unconditional love and of bonding and of welcoming acceptance. So we don't have to be quite so serious, quite so buttoned up, quite so mature. One of my favorite books, Brené Brown's book that I've just misplaced, but it'll be on the next slide. Keep going. Oh, I'll come back to that. The Gifts of Imperfection. She writes, when we value being cool and in control over granting ourselves the freedom to unleash the passionate, goofy, heartfelt, and soulful expressions of who we are, we betray ourselves. When we constantly betray ourselves, we can expect to do the same to the people we love. When we don't give ourselves permission to be free, we rarely tolerate that freedom in others. We put them down, make fun of them, ridicule their behaviors, and sometimes shame them. We can do this consciously or unconsciously. Either way, the message is, geez, man, don't be so uncool. Life is way too precious to spend it pretending we are super cool and totally in control when we could be laughing, singing, and dancing. So the slide that I missed, and there's some controversy. I posted this on Facebook yesterday, and there's some controversy as to whether or not Mark Twain really said this, and it doesn't matter, but there's great wisdom. Dance like no one's watching, sing like no one's listening, love like you've never been hurt, and live like it's heaven on earth. What would we do today to play? What would we do to honor and celebrate the individual that we are? And what could we share in our community, again, whether it's home or a club that you belong to or family or just whatever? What could we what part of us could we share with that community? Excuse me. Because as we do that, we allow people, other people in the community to do the same. Maybe, well, you shared that. Maybe it's okay for me to tell you a little about who I am and my experiences and my dreams and my lessons and my goals and all of those things. So as we do this, we give other people in our community the opportunity to do that as well. When we frolic, when we're just not quite so mature and we're spiritual, we're always spiritual. But if we're not beating people up with the Science of Mind textbook, and I don't know, do we do that? It's a big book. When we're chopping our wood and carrying our water and enjoying the lusciousness of this experience called life, it feels so much better and gives other people the permission to do the same. I may not have, and in this experience of community, as we expand our community, we find that I might not have anything in common with you that I know of. Ever met somebody and they went to the same high school you did, or just lived down the block from somebody, or that your parents knew their parents, or some goofy coincidence? When we share, we give ourselves the opportunity to learn that about other people. And even if there's nothing, as many of you know, I work with homeless 18 to 25-year-olds. And I'm often asked, how did you get involved in this? Was that your experience? It was not. I had my parents were together in the same house for 62 years. I always had a place. I always knew I could go home. I was loved and nurtured and welcomed and accepted and embraced. So I have no concept of I have no concept of what these youth went through and are going through, and that's what drew me to this organization. I have no idea, and it breaks my heart to think about it, so I'm going to do what I can do to serve you and support you. Because what we have in common is that each of us, with everything that's happened up till this moment, each of us is the beloved. And so in our experience of community, we bring that wisdom, we bring that unconditional love, we bring that sense of play to whatever's going on. So I love what we as a community do, we Ohm as a community do in service for others, in La Mesa, in San Diego, in the greater community. So our 2022 global theme is Living Everyday Wonder. And I was thinking, wisdom comes in surprising and wonderful ways, including as I'm pulling into the parking lot this morning. Had to pull over and write things down. Think about that word wonder. You know about our affirmative prayer, our spiritual mind treatment. We state our intention, we say, and so it is, and then something must happen. Can we allow ourselves to stay in that wonder and that possibility? I said, and so it is. My word never returns to me void. That means something is changing. Something is shifting. Something is going to manifest for me because I said so, and life always says yes. So can we live in the wonder of how is the universe going to bring that greater good to me versus fear and dread and, oh dear God, and waiting for the next shoe to drop? Wonder feels so much better. Not wondering the next catastrophe. Wonder how will this work? How will Spirit work this out to be better than I could have possibly imagined? I keep having those. Do you have those? Do you just have a little bit of drama mind? Oh God, what am I going to do? How am I going to figure that out? Plan B and Plan C and Plan D and all the rest of that. And the still small voice says, well, if you want, or we could just let it be easy. And then I say, okay. And of course it was easy. Remember Staples' the big red button? That was easy. That was easy. In community, in beloved community, we can be reminded of the truth of our being, because the truth of my being is also the truth of your being. So how will we move forward in this experience of community? How will we serve? And maybe it's just talking with somebody. Maybe it's volunteering to help with the concert at the end of next month. Just whatever lights you up, there are opportunities for that, because it's not possible for us to serve others without us being served ourselves. It's just not possible. So with that in mind, join me in the light for just a minute. So in the peace and the quiet of this moment, we allow ourselves to be reminded of our oneness with the God presence, with one another, and with all of life. And we come together in gratitude today for this experience of beloved community, for this time to be together in the room as well as on Zoom, to be together in spirit, to be together in the one mind. We give thanks for this opportunity, for this glorious day. And moving forward, we allow ourselves the opportunity to be who we are, to be the beloved with all of our stuff. All of our stuff. I am that beloved. You are that beloved. And we remember the words of A Course in Miracles. God himself would be incomplete without you. Everything you bring to life is necessary. It is an amazing gift to everyone you come in contact with. So we accept that as our truth, and we move forward in passion, in great joy, in frolic, in welcoming others, welcoming others into our hearts and into our lives, knowing that they are the beloved as well. And we hold in our hearts today, our hearts and minds, people in other places who are experiencing grief and loss and upheaval. And what we know is that a thought anywhere is thought everywhere. And so at the end of the service this morning, we're going to sing Let There Be Peace on Earth and Let It Begin with Me. And so today I invite all of us to see where we are out of peace, where we are in fear about having enough, where we are in anger, and release that which no longer serves us so we can move forward in the one mind, in great joy, in passion, in abundance. So for our time together, for this beloved community, we give great thanks. And together we say, and so it is. Thanks, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Sylvia, back to you.
I can't follow that.
Oh. Thank you.
We are not worthy.
Try, you can do it. Try, Sylvia.
Encouragement.
We know you can do it.
Imagine me and you. I do. I think about us day and night. It's only right to meditate in love and light. A true delight, so happy together. When you're down and troubled and you need some love and care, nothing is going right. Close your eyes and think of me, and soon I will be there to brighten up even your darkest night. You just call out my name. Yeah, sing it. And you know wherever I am, I'll come running to see you again. Winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you have to do is call, and I'll be there, yeah. You've got a friend, huh? You've got a friend in me, oh yeah. You got a friend in me. When the road looks rough ahead and you're miles and miles from your nice warm bed, you just remember what your old pal said. You've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. Uh-oh. And if the sky above you grows dark and full of clouds, and that old north wind begins to blow, keep your head together and call my name out loud, 'cause soon you'll hear me knocking at your door. You just call out my name, and you know wherever I am, I'll come running, oh yeah, yeah, to see you again. Summer, winter, spring, summer, or fall, all you gotta do is call, and I'll be there, yeah. You've got a friend. Uh-oh, she's back again. You've got a friend in me. Is that you, Jerry? You got a friend in me. Oh, Kathy. You got troubles. I got them too. Stella. There ain't nothing I wouldn't do for you. Oh my God, people. We stick together. Help is on his way. And we'll see it through. 'Cause you've got a friend in me. Ain't it good to know you've got a friend in me? Ain't it good to know you've got a friend in me? Ain't it good to know you've got a